another Wise Women Forward podcast. And the guest that we're bringing to you today is Angela Gentile. And she's the founder of the Single and Child-Free Network, an international community for women living outside traditional expectations of marriage and motherhood. Through her podcast, The Empowered Millennials, live events, and online community, Angela creates honest conversations about identity, belonging, grief, societal pressure, and the freedom to build a meaningful life on your own terms. Her work gives single and child-free women a place to feel seen, supported, and deeply connected. And Angela's mission is to challenge outdated timelines, yes, thank you, for women's lives and remind them that a rich, powerful, and fulfilling life does not have to follow the conventional script. So, Angela, I'm going to come in hot because the minute that I read the conventional script, right?
That's it, right?
You know, in our movie, we also kind of take out the conventional script of what it means to become postmenopause and to age as a woman, right? Yeah. That it's not a decline, it's a rebirth into wisdom and leadership. So talk to me about the conventional script as you see it for women and the kind of thing of motherhood.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. And I'm glad that anytime we get to have these conversations, just like, you know, I feel very aligned and it's so important. And anybody listening, you're not the only one. We're out here, we're having these conversations. And I just think the more that we talk, the more that we share, the more this gains traction, you know, so keep being loud, y'all, and keep sharing your story. So yeah, okay. What do I think the traditional script is? And I mean, I think it's insidious in everything we do. It's you as a woman revolve your life around being picked to be in a relationship and to have children and to, I'm just going to say it, to give up your identity to become a role that you play in someone else's life. And I think that indoctrination starts really young with the movies that we watch, with the clothes we wear, with the toys we buy, with the way we socialize into these very binary gender roles. And women tend to get the short end and the limitation of that. And I do think, unfortunately, the script, you know, has a woman's peak of her life happening at like 28. Yeah. And, you know, like you're going to get married at 28 and have a baby. And then like, that's it. There will never be another celebration for you. There will never be a better time in your life. The happiest moment in your life is getting married and having a kid. And then that's it. And there is nothing else to be honored for, to be revered for, to be worth anything for. So anything you do after your big full life that comes after 28 years old, meaningless because you've already had the marriage and the kids and that's what you're here for. And I think we look at women who are aging as, you know, we shun them, we look at them in disgust because their whole existence is meant to be a bunch of cells to breed, not a whole human who gets to exist outside of that role. So, yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm with that.
So you said indoctrinated. We consider the patriarchy a cult.
Correct.
Do you recall some of your early sensibility towards that? Like, how old were you? And then how was it for you to try to push back against that? What was the machinery like and the people around you? And how did you arrive at where you are today?
That's a big question because I don't think I had the vocabulary or the knowing to understand what patriarchy was because, you know, I love my family and I am come from a very long, beautiful lineage of women who have done the best they could with the information and the opportunities they've had. So they couldn't give me what they didn't have. They couldn't give me what they didn't know, right? So a lot of repetition, a lot of just passed down, you know, generational cultural things. So I don't think I really understood what patriarchy was until post-college and when I was like in life and I was getting jobs and I was in relationships and I didn't like what was happening around me, and at that moment in my life it was very much to me, you know, I didn't like it. I didn't feel equal. I didn't feel that there was equity. I didn't feel safe. And it sort of, I don't want to say got worse. I think it just got clearer as I've gotten older. And I think now in my 40s, where I am a whole, I think something happens when you're perimenopausal that you literally don't care about anything. And I can't wait for the next decade after this, because if I give fewer fucks, that's amazing. But yeah, I think it was as I've just had more life experience and have settled into what makes me feel good. That's when I started, I think that's when patriarchy became, like, I became a huge, advocate for women, more so than I ever have been in my life. So I'm not sure if I answered that question, but yeah,
Oh,
I
no,
was not
beautifully.
conscious.
Yeah, you did.
I was
Because
not conscious of it
well,
younger.
I
No way.
think that you are representing a lot of women because it's on the tip of your tongue. We've been doing this project for
Yeah.
10 years. And every woman we've told about the idea that we evolved to be modern humans because of women's leadership, not one has been surprised by that. It's all
Yeah.
inherent sort of instinct, right? But what happens is that we're the whole project and what you're doing and what we're trying to do is to uncover that, to allow women to understand that when you feel those instincts and want to move further into that idea, you're standing on a sisterhood of 2 million years
Right.
that come before you to do it.
Right. And to be able to build a group or to be in this position, I had to take a lot of shit to get here. Being in my 20s and being like, I don't like that. I don't think I want kids. Everyone dismissed you. Oh, you're young. You'll figure that out. You'll change your mind. You just haven't met the right person. Insert whatever, narrative into here. And I was labeled as difficult. I was labeled as loud, as, no man's ever going to want you. There was a lot of negativity that I absorbed that I think silenced me sometimes. I wasn't safe. I wasn't comfortable. I didn't have other women around me in the way that I do now, championing me and supporting me and like pitchforking it with me. I felt very alone and often silenced in my quest to be treated with dignity and humanity and respect, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes within the structure that imprisons you, there are messages. Like we quite often say and hear and use, it takes a village to raise a child, right? The truth of that sentence is that we're really all much better in a tribal form. And in a tribal form, there are women who really have this, like, they cannot not be mothers. You know what I mean? Where that is like, yes, this is what I have to do. And there are women who absolutely don't, and everything in between. And when we're together, the children get to have the best of all. Like in your life, are you an auntie or things like that to and a mentor?
Sure. I mean, I love what you're saying. Like in the village, everybody has a role. And I think what's the saying? Like there's room for everyone in the revolution. Everyone has a right? Like everyone has a job. And if you're a mother and you felt that calling deep in your uterus to go have a baby and you feel fulfillment in that, I love that for you. I absolutely love that for you. And I would love the same level of joy and clapping and respect that I didn't feel my nurturing calling being in offspring. That's never something that I felt like hardcore. And I think maybe at one point in my life, I felt like, oh, I should want kids. And maybe it was something I was thinking about because that's what I was told I should want, you know? But I think it's however you want to mother and nurture in any way, shape, or form, to be mothering the earth, mothering your pets, nurturing your business, your plants. Like there is room for everyone to care. And that energy of care put out into the world in whatever capacity, that's what's elevating, not just care in the human form, because we need all forms of care in order for the society to function. So to answer your question, yes, I am Auntie Ange to my own nieces, but my friends' kids, always Auntie Ange. And I started my career off as a teacher. Shocker, right? Like another caretaking role, nurture. Right? That's all, but that's also nurturing, that's also caring. And my students, my former students, I'm still close with so many of them as like Miss G forever. Like I love them. We text, what do you need? How can I support you? And that will always be part of my life. I nurture my community of single and child-free women. I think speaking as a leader and the community builder is what I'm doing to mother and care. So my auntiness comes in various capacities and forms. And the rose bushes I just bought that I'm going to go plant later this afternoon. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. And the thing, here's
Hi, baby.
here's
There's
one
a
of
little
our
baby.
babies. We
There's
have
a little
a
baby.
a bunch of fur babies along with a daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that.
One of the things that I say quite often, and I remind women, is that in the Eastern philosophy, in the chakras, the second chakra that is placed physically where our womb is the chakra of sexuality and creativity. It's not the sexuality and birth, it is creativity. So that could mean anything, right?
Whatever you're
Yeah.
creating, whatever you want to birth. Like I birthed into this world, the Single and Child Free Network. You birthed this documentary. If you're an artist, a singer, a dancer, you're birthing your art, you're creating your art. And again, that goes back to there's room for everyone in the revolution. Like that's your contribution energetically and intentionally into the world. Period.
In the film, we cover the transition because we rose because of women's leadership, and we rose as a matriarchy, like bonobos, like pilot whales, orcas, right? They're all matriarchies. And then it was the event of domestication 10,000 years ago when we domesticated plants and animals. We learned that sex and babies were correlated to each other. And it was at that point that we started breeding animals that then livestock so offspring had value. And then we changed to a patriarchy once we determined offspring had value. And so when
This
you're
all came from livestock.
yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And the fact that the only thing that was able to be seen as a contribution was from the male, right? Because before microscopes and really intense microscopes, you couldn't see the eggs that we carried.
so
Correct.
it
Yeah.
was in 1829 that we finally saw that women actually had a role other than just gestation for pregnancy. So
Wow.
progress.
Learning something new every day.
Well,
you
that's
know?
why people watch our documentary.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it's packed full
Yeah.
of little tidbits like that. You'll do well at your next party, I think.
Yes,
for the-
exactly.
For the
Exactly.
What
matriarchy.
I bring, and I'm like, let's talk about, you know? Yeah. I'm a joy. I'm a joy.
Yeah. Let's talk about reproductive consciousness.
Please, please, let's talk about dismantling the patriarchy. Sit down.
Yes, yes. Because, what also gets my goat, and I'm sorry, I'm trying not to like growl, but
Go
this
ahead.
whole thing makes me want to growl, right?
It
Is
should.
that there isn't that question for men. There aren't groups that are for child-free men because they don't need that kind of support because they are not put under that kind of like
Scrutiny,
intensity.
microscope.
Have you noticed that?
Of course. Of course. I think there are some men who follow me on social media who feel supported by the content, but it's a different socialization. Like you get to be a bachelor for life and no one will question your existence on this earth if you do not procreate. You are not getting the what good are you here for if you're not having a baby. Like that's not your purpose in life. I can't speak to what men get at being child free because obviously that's not my experience, but there isn't anything that's holding you back by being a parent as a man, and there isn't anything holding you back not being a parent as a man. As a man, you get to exist simply as a human being without your choices labeling you or becoming a factor on how people treat you. that doesn't happen in our patriarchy society. You know, men just get to exist as they are, period, the end. Whereas like
So
even if you are a mother, you know, that role that you play, the emotional labor that women take on as mothers, like limits her ability to show up as her. She has to carry everything. She has to do everything. You know, in the same way I think child-free women are scrutinized because we didn't do that. So it's almost like you can't win. You can't win. Nothing you do will ever be enough. And I'm air quoting that. You know what I mean? Sorry, you were going to say something.
no, I just, as the man in the conversation,
Yeah.
there's a nuance which I don't think, and I hope that we can get to about this, right? Men were never designed to be the system, the social all say, right? We don't have the capacity. We're very, very good at focusing on things. We're very, very good at sort of being present and being in support. I think that's the best version of what a man could be, is in support. But you know, when Dominique asked me to, we're going to have like 7 people for dinner. She's like, can you arrange who's going to sit where? I'm over. I'm done. I'm like, and what happens for me, what I've realized is I recede, I disappear because I feel I'm going to fail, or I get mad and start to push back at the idea that I'm going to fail because I don't have the range of capability to process how to process that. And so the patriarchy is a system that we stumbled upon. There wasn't a conspiratorial power grab by men to say, oh, we're going to take this out of women. We all together in a way sort of said, oh, sex makes babies. It's called reproductive consciousness. And men are the ones who are actually producing the thing to make the baby. And so reproduction isn't the realm of the feminine, which it was for 2 million years. It's the realm of the men. So men did what we do, which is like, oh, okay, so I guess we have to manage this now. And this experiment started 10,000 years ago, and we're at the other end of that failure. And so there's a few bullies out there that are taking up all the oxygen, but there's a lot of us like me who made a movie about menopause who wants to be in service. Yeah. And that's what I think the nuance there is about men.
Have you gotten bullied? Have you been bullied?
For the listeners, I wish you could see her face because it's like
Put that clip in there. Yeah, I have filed police reports several times for death threats, for, you know, hate crimes. And I will be honest, I do not seek it out. I simply post on social media. I say what I need to say, but I am never like, come at me, dudes. I'm not going into red pill manosphere instigating anything. I am simply like on my own little soapbox over here speaking to the women who I'm speaking to, and that bothers people. That angers men. And I think when you have a woman who is loud and the antithesis of what you have been taught a woman should be, which is soft-spoken, which is quiet, which is submissive, which is upholding a man regardless of his shortcomings and his emotional capacity and his ability, whatever. When you are the antithesis of that, I think it challenges what you know to be true as a man, or as anybody, even not even women. I get some shit from women too. Yeah, and I think it forces them to have a conversation that I don't think they're ready for, of like, oh, could be possible too. This way of thinking is valid. This existence is real, right? And what does that say about the way that I'm living or the choices that I've made? And sometimes people are not ready to face that within themselves. Maybe the way that they have attached themselves, even unconsciously, to patriarchy and patriarchal systems. I'm not sure if they're ready to understand how that has harmed them or how they're still living in it. You know, everybody should just like take a minute and read some bell hooks and, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And the women who come at you, what's going on there? Are they afraid to see something within themselves? What do you think?
I don't know. It hurts me to think that there is resentment in someone's life, because if you're happy, you're not in my comments. If you feel fulfilled, you're not in my comments. So if I'm posting and sharing my experience in this community, in this amazing trip to Morocco that we just took, and how it was life-changing for all 13 women on the group. If you're seeing that and you're angry about it, that's not about me. And that's not about a child-free lifestyle. That's your own journey that you need to take on why you feel trapped, why you feel angry, why you feel resentful. And what choices did you make that maybe you're now at, your big age having a conversation of like, I'm not sure that that's what I wanted. And it breaks my heart that we're not able to have that conversation. It breaks my heart that women are in this position where they might have done something that isn't really what they wanted because they didn't know that they had another choice. And I think when you see a single and a child-free woman who has just such autonomy and freedom in her life, I'm sure that can, again, hold up a mirror of possibility to a choice that you did not know that you had. Unfortunately.
You talked a little bit about things that were nice, and we spent a lot of time because we are pretty angry and we're pretty frustrated as as a group on what we do.
Yeah.
But what are some of the beautiful things that you've observed happen because of the work that you do?
Oh my God. It's incredible. I mean, for every comment I get that tells me like I'm old, ugly, and worthless, which is laughable because I'm a babe. Which is laughable. There are 15 comments from women being like, I feel so seen. I feel so supported. Oh my God, I'm not the only one. And I think what it's doing is empowering women in this choice, whether it is by choice or by circumstance, to say, your life is valid. Your experience is meaningful. Your life has purpose. And get rid of that weight of patriarchy, of all of this stuff that you've been told that is the one, like it's one dimensional. It's a one-dimensional view of what a woman can be. And I think women seeing my content and being in community here allows them to say, you know what? I do deserve something more than feeling like shit about this lifestyle that isn't going to happen for me or hasn't happened or I don't want it to happen. I think it gives them permission to stand a little bit taller and be prouder that your life is dope. Your life is so cool. Go live it. And it doesn't, and saying this doesn't take away anything from mothers and motherhood. It's just another vein. It's just another artery in life. Like that's all it is. Like if motherhood makes you happy, my not doing that takes nothing away from yours. It's just allowing breath in life to a lifestyle that has often been dismissed, criticized, or unsupported. So it does bring this sense of community. And there are a lot of women who do reach out and say thank you, which warms my heart.
It's amazing. It feels like what you're celebrating is women as whole human beings, right? And I look forward to the time when I don't have to remind women to celebrate menopause, and you don't have to remind women that their choices are okay, and that, trips to Morocco are just a bunch of women who want to go to Morocco together,
Yeah. Yeah. And I hope it, I think I'm in that cusp of like, I can dip my toe in menopause. There's some things happening. And then there's women who, are coming, who are younger, who are watching. And I hope that they're looking at this being like, oh my God, she's showing me what's possible in the same way that I look at older women. And I hope that by example, this isn't a community where we're tearing down other women, where a woman doesn't have value because of her age. If anything, when I was neck deep in patriarchy, unaware of what it is, I felt everything was a competition. And I felt that there were so many women who were older who didn't know, I don't want anything. What do they know? Like, I don't want that. Now I'm like, please tell me everything you know. I will take notes. What is menopause going to be like? Like, am I going to live? Is this going to be okay? Because here's what's happening. This is nuts, And I hope it just shows women that like we're all allies in this. And look at your life as you age, and look at what's possible and look at what's joyful. And if you don't have children, as you age, this is what it can look like. And we're having a good time. We're having a good time over here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're hot most of the time, but we're having a good time. We're
Well,
having a good time.
Margaret Cho's in the movie, and she does a little bit where she says, you know, I don't have to get my sweat on, and if I go to the gym, I don't have to go to the gym. I don't have to get my
Sweating
sweat
right
on.
now.
I'm always sweaty,
Yeah.
right? So, so, um,
Sweating right now.
yeah. So you've touched upon it a bit. We do call this podcast Wise Women Forward because the patriarchy is good at making us look backwards. It's making us like, what's the shitstorm that happened today? So when you consider wise women and forward, and you've already said some beautiful things about what that means, is there anything else that you want to add to that notion so that we can just keep our audience dreaming, keep our audience focused on forward?
Yeah, I think wisdom comes with your experience. And the more, and sure, that does have a lot to do with age just by mere time on this earth, but there is wisdom in your experience, and to share your experience with the people you love and the people around you and with other women. I think that's how we continue to grow. We tell our stories. Those stories serve as, guidebooks and survival guides in the next person's, any opportunity or any roadblock that they have. There's resources for them to use simply by just sharing our wisdom with each other, with other people. So yes, as I age, I want to tell everybody everything I know. I know a lot and I know nothing at all. And look towards the women who have been here longer, because they know a couple more things, and that's really beautiful. And take notes. Take notes, Yeah.
That's beautiful. And yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
what needs to be said. Angela, is there anything else that we didn't ask you that you wish we did?
Oh,
Anything else you want to tell us?
oh man. I mean, how much time you got? No, I appreciate having this conversation. I appreciate being considered for a title of a wise woman. Like I said, it's sometimes I can't believe that I'm here in my life. Sometimes I feel like a kid. I don't know if that'll ever go away. I'm like, oh, I am the adultiest adult that I know doing this. This is an adult thing that I'm doing. I forget. I forget. But no, I think just to have this opportunity to speak to anyone who is single and child free, again, by choice or by circumstance, like, you're doing great. You're doing great. There is an opportunity that you have in your life to really claim that and to trailblaze your own path of whatever it is that brings you joy. And it is your goddamn life. And it doesn't need to look, sound, feel, or taste like anyone else's. So go forth, go live it. You have permission to go do whatever brings you joy, and just go do something epic. That's all.
Beautifully said.
Yay.
So thank you everyone for joining us. Angela's links will be in the description. Our movie is called Wise Women, Humanity's Untold Origins. There'll be a link to that as well. And so we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us.